It's the OCG Fam Show. Should you keep an almost exactly constant level of moisture in your soil, or does it need to go up and down a little? Let's talk about it. Hey there, Bob from Oregon's Constant Gardener. Welcome to the OCG Fam Show. To you, my YouTube buddies, what's going on? How you doing out there? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. We'll talk about it. Your question show is coming up. It's just a little delayed. I'm working on it. Scott's very busy. Today, when you're watering your plants, and I've had a question about this myself, a lot of people would say, well, you want to let that soil dry out there so that plant can get big and strong, or you want to keep that soil always moisturized. There's different opinions about how you should do the cycle of your water, if you need to keep an exactly constant level of moisture to your soil, or if you want some variation to that. And I was asking Scott about that, and I thought his answer was very interesting, and I hope you will too. So I want you to watch this little clip, and I'll talk to you after. So I got one actual question. That wasn't a good question. This, I think, may be a good question. So obviously I don't want my water swampy or bone dry, but do I want it to have variation where it's wetter and drier and wetter and drier, or do I want to keep like a general level of moisture to my soil?
I mean, you definitely want to keep a moisture content. You don't want to drop below it too often because then you create hydrophobic pockets. So I like the moist to dry concept rather than the wet to moist. Because wet creates root rot, fungal issues, anaerobic bacteria, anaerobic fungi. The things that will actually create problems in the root zone love lack of oxygen, and they love, muddy water or muddy soils. So I tend to lean and coach people into the damp, damp to dry versus wet to damp. Okay. Because if it's wet to damp, they never get a chance to air out. You have fungus gnats if you're always wet. You have root aphids show up and tend to really thrive when you're always wet. I mean, a lot of problems show up to always wet.
So it seems like you'd have this thing of like in your mind that the perfect scenario would be some kind of drip irrigation where it just went bloop, bloop.
Well, yeah, there's that Blue Mat stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Blue Mat there's this company, Blue Mat, I don't know, it's probably French or something. American fries.
That guy.
Freedom fries! But the Blue Mat system is like this little ceramic carrot, and it has a nozzle that you let the tube go further out or in, and you set your moisture preference, and it literally is reading the hyperbaric pressure of the soil according to how much water is being released by the dripper. And the further you make the dripper go out, the wetter the soil is, and the closer it is, the more moist it is. So you can literally dial in your perfect plant's moisture content in the zone, and it'll maintain that the whole way through.
Is that a good scenario other than the fact that you couldn't feed?
It's a great scenario if you're doing no feedings, no bottles, because then now if you come in behind it, you water it once a week with nectar, 5 gallons of nectar, now you're at full saturation, that thing starts to dry out and may not even start reactivate. It might lose its siphon because it's pulling from a reservoir. I do know guys that set those up for vacations and stuff. Sure. Because if you have a good, healthy one-shot built up in your soil and you want to leave for 10 days, these will keep you at 25% perfect moisture all the way your whole vacation if you have a big enough reservoir.
Okay.
But yeah, keeping your soil at a perfect moisture content from 24 hours a day, 7 days a week while feeding bottles, it's impossible. I mean, you want to keep this range, but there's no way to keep 25%.
Okay. Okay, what do you think of that? Informative, entertaining, helpful? What's your strategy, your philosophy about soil moisture? Let's talk about it in the comments. And any other questions you might have about Nectar or anything else. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow. The OCG Fam Show. It's pretty good. It happens every day. It's the OCG Fam Show. See you tomorrow.